Hi, I'm Jimmy Blakeney, paddle sports, board sports instructor, and product designer for ISLE. In this video, we're going to be covering paddling in the wind. Now, paddling in the wind, specifically in this video, we're going to be talking about it related to hybrid paddleboard kayaks, which are great two-in-one products for, paddleboarding and kayaking. When it comes to paddling in the wind, one of the nice things about them is that you can sit down, because the first thing I'll say about paddling in the wind is that it is going to be much easier if we're seated versus standing. We're in the standing position, we're basically like a sail in the wind, and you're also more stable. All right, so when it comes to the wind, there's a few different ways the wind is going to affect you. The first one, if we think about it, is downwind or trailing wind. And downwinding is actually a discipline in paddleboarding and kayaking where we are going with the wind. So right now, in fact, I have a little bit of wind at my back. And if I have that wind in my back, I am like smooth sailing, I'm cruising along. If the wind picks up, I'm gonna start to have some waves, and I'm gonna have to be maybe even surfing and riding those waves a little bit in the open water. And I have to watch out for the water swamping over the board. Sometimes you can move your seat back a little bit, and that can help in the downwind situation. Now, downwinding is great, but if you're downwinding and then you need to go back upwind, in this case, if I just left my destination at the bridge up here and then I turned around and I wanted to go back, now I'm facing upwind. Now it's a whole different ball game out there. So from a safety perspective, it's very important that you understand what's happening with the wind wherever you're going paddling, because you're gonna be out there, you may go downwind and be like, this is the best time I've ever had. And then all of a sudden you're 3 miles away and you got to turn around and go into the wind, and it's going to be a nightmare and you might not even make it back. It can be really challenging. So be pay very close attention to the wind wherever you're paddling. So when we are paddling upwind, the thing about it is that those waves are just going to be slapping the nose or the bow, and it's just going to be a lot more challenging to go upwind. All right, so the next way we can paddle, and sometimes you don't have any choice, is crosswind. So right now, the wind is coming from my right, and if I'm paddling basically perpendicular to the wind direction, that's crosswind. Now, when I'm crosswind on a hybrid paddleboard kayak, the board or boat, whatever you want to call it, in this case it's the boat, is going to want to turn downwind because of the skeg or the fin, right, back at the tail. So because it's wanting to turn and go downwind, that means I'm gonna have to paddle downwind side so that I counteract the wind trying to push the bow downwind, right? What that means is you can get very tired paddling only on one side of your boat if you're going crosswind, all right? So in order to alleviate that, we talk about this in a separate video. If the wind's coming this direction, it's trying to turn me downwind, I can do a bow draw. And that takes some pressure, lets my downwind side rest. So that can help when you're paddling in a crosswind a lot. Another really interesting thing that can help you if you are caught in a crosswind and you have no choice but to go crosswind, in the wind, because that skeg is locked in and it's a flat hull, it wants to turn downwind, okay? So in order to counteract that, one thing you can do, and now the wind's picking up, this is actually perfect. One thing I can do is I can move up, okay? I can move up towards the nose. So in this case, I've moved off my seat, right? But what I'm showing you is that now that I'm up here, I've anchored some of this rail and some of the nose into the water. So when I've anchored that into the water, going crosswind, it will basically allow the board to go a little bit straighter across the wind because the nose is anchored in. And this is actually exactly why in a lot of traditional kayaks, like a sea kayak, for example, that has a displacement hull, which means the hull has a V shape or a curve shape, that bow is really anchored and they can turn towards the wind. And so that is different. That is one of the differences between these hybrid paddleboard kayaks with these planing hulls. All right, so those are a few things that you need to consider when it comes to paddling in the wind. You're gonna be either going downwind, you're gonna be going upwind, or you're gonna be going crosswind. There's various techniques that can help you with that. I hope this video was helpful. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below. If I missed something, leave it in the comments below, something that you found helpful for paddling into the wind. and we'll see you out on the water, whether you're on a paddleboard or a kayak.